Hello, hello. Welcome to How to Reduce Toxic Emotions at Work with Joyce Odidison here. I'm so excited to have you join me today for our LinkedIn Live show. And what are toxic emotions? Do you have toxic emotions? Do you encounter toxic emotions at work? This is what we're going to be talking about today, and I will share with you some of the strategies that we use. So, as a conflict analyst, I get called in all the time. The morale here, things aren't happening, Joyce. How can you help? Let me share with you some of the things that I used to help, and I'll be coming right back. Let's get started. Get out your notepad, pen, and paper, and let's talk. We'll get started. So, what are toxic emotions and how do you find yourself in that place? What do they look like? What do they look like? What do they feel like? And how do they become a problem? Well, some of the key things that we'll talk about is sometimes anger, right? You may find yourself where people are angry at you. Oh, by the way, I'm outside. You notice, right? I am living in Manitoba. If you've never heard of Winnipeg, Manitoba, you need to Google where I live. And it's the end of September, and it's 30 plus today. It's so beautiful outside. So I've been teaching all morning. Just jumped out of a class, and we were teaching on foundations of leadership coaching. And they just ended the class, and I jump on here. So little few hours minutes behind, but we're going to have a good show today. And I look forward to your comments and your feedback. So jump in the chat, join on here. Welcome, welcome. Join the stream. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if you encounter toxic emotions at work. What are they? What do they feel like? What kind of emotions do you encounter at work? How do they impact you? What do you, uh, how do you deal with them? Those are some of the things that I get asked all the time. So, a number of things coming up that we have coming up where we're always working on workplace. Don't forget to check out my podcast, What's Happening at Work. I also do a number of teaching on there as to how do we deal with some of the situations at work. I also uh, do write articles on here, and I also run the Global Workplace Wellness Summit. So don't forget, the summit is coming up November 8th to 10th, and we're going to be dealing with some of the key issues: diversity and equity, inclusion. We're going to be talking about gender, equity, equality. We're going to be talking about psychological safety at work. Those are some of the things that we're going to be focusing on, and I want you to be there. So don't forget to get your free membership. But let's talk about toxic emotions at work. So imagine yourself at work, and your boss comes in, slams their office. No, we're in virtual world, right? So, and you're like, what's going on? Or you send an email and asking an important question, or a question you thought was important, and there was silence, absolute silence, nothing, no response, no acknowledgement. You know the email was received and read, right? Because with technology now we can know that, right? But no response, and you're like, what is going on? Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Is this person upset at me? Wow, it is just, I don't know, it's just silent. So one of my clients said to me, Joyce, the silence here is toxic. And she's correct. Because what happens when there is silence? And often when we talk about toxic emotions, we talk about anger, and we talk about shame, and we talk about blame, and we talk about, negative conflict. And those are important. As a conflict analyst, those are important. And I talk about them and I agree with them. But one of the worst that we don't talk about is silence, and how demeaning and frustrating and fear mongering can happen in your workplace when there is that toxic silence. A silence when, hi Naveda, the silence when you don't hear anything. You send an important email or you leave a voice message and there is nothing. And you are left to wonder, what did I do? Did I say the right thing? Did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? That is the cause of a lot of stress for employees, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. And that is something that we need to address. So yes, we have to talk about all the popular toxic emotions that at work, but a lot of it is driven by fear and is driven by silence. Silence is a big driver in the toxic emotions that people are feeling. So I get asked the question, well, Joyce, I keep silent because I didn't have anything good to say. And you know, we do. We train our kids. I have two kids. I was like, if you don't have anything good to say, then just be silent. So so we know there is that historical connotation that we have. When someone is silent, it's because they're not having good thoughts about us, or they're not thinking positively, or what they're saying or what they have to say, we may not like it. So guess what happens? We go into this like, oh my goodness, what did I say? What did I do? Why did Nevada, have you ever had that silent treatment? Right? And how did it make you feel? Those are some of the things we are talking about, because when you have that silent treatment, you start to wonder, like, what did I do? Oh, what did I say? Is it me or is it something else? And we spend so much time in that place of wondering, fear mongering, wondering, scared, worried. And we need to stop doing that, because those negative silence can be very damaging in the workplace. So I wanted to start off today by just talking about those heavy silence that happens at work and how they impact people. Because guess what? They tell me. Yes, they tell me in our sessions, they tell me, Joyce, the silence is deafening. It's toxic. It's loud. It's arrogant. It's bullying. Yes, you can do all of that with your silence. So if you hadn't recognized or you didn't know, I'm just here to just kind of let you know in a friendly way. Think about the silence, not responding to people in a timely manner. When someone is waiting 2 weeks to get important information, when they know that their email was seen and read. And I understand that all our inboxes are full right now. I know mine is full too. And we have to prioritize. But your team members, your job is to treat your team members well. And if you're a leader or you're part of a team, your job is to treat your team members well, because when you're treating them well, that means you're communicating. You're communicating responsibly. One of the things that I teach is responsible communication, meaning that we are responding to people in a timely manner. We are communicating effectively, answering with intention to not do harm, and we are being respectful in our communication. So, those things are really important, because when that doesn't happen, it causes the negative emotions, those toxic emotions, where people are fearful to come to work, where people are embarrassed, where people are anxious. That's what toxic emotions does. It puts people in a uncomfortable place, in an uncomfortable situation. It makes them feel like they're not important, or they're being punished, or they have to put up with the negative energy that's being emanated by your action or lack of action. So it's not just those of you who are rude, disrespectful, who are always angry. Those are not the only situations that causes toxic emotions. It's the negative silence, the degrading, the micro inequities, the microaggression that happens. That's another piece that's been very, very hard for employees, especially in this season where everyone actually seems to have an expectation that there isn't racism and discrimination happening anymore, or gender inequality. I don't know. We kind of have this expectation now. Hey, we're sending people to the moon. We're enlightened. George Floyd has died. We know that you're supposed to treat people with equity and inclusion. We just have this assumption that it's everybody knows that and everybody's going to do it. But when those things happen, people are shocked that I'm experiencing this. I can't believe it. So don't be shocked. Just recognize those when they are toxic emotions and then ask yourself, how do I deal with them? So first thing you need to do is that identify what is happening. Ask yourself, how am I contributing to it? What am I doing to contribute to this? Is there any part of this that I take ownership for? And I'm telling you this because as a conflict analyst, I've seen many situations where people are complaining about others and they're not looking at themselves. Self-awareness is the biggest thing that you can do for yourself. Is ask yourself, how am I contributing to this? What is my part in it? What am I doing to make this the way it is, to contribute, to participate? And sometimes our contribution is our silence when we're not identifying the things. So if you seeing somebody mistreat each other, somebody's practicing micro inequities or microaggression or being rude or treating someone of a different class, gender, sexual orientation different, your job is to say something. Is to say, you know what? I don't think the way you spoke to Sally was respectful, or I think she was hurt by this. Did you notice that, I felt awkward? And if you speak for yourself, I felt awkward when you. So how do you know, right? It's feelings. Our feelings will tell us, right? Those toxic emotions are telling us we need to do something. If you're recognizing toxic emotions in your workplace, it's because your awareness to do something. What do I do? Is first you identify what's happening and your part in it. Did I contribute in any way? Did I stay silent when I should have said something? Because this person is my friend, or because this person is my coworker, or because this person is my boss, is it okay for them to behave badly towards others? No. Is it okay for them to create a toxic environment where other people are fearful, other people are scared, other people are unhappy? That's what the emotionally toxic environment does. People are unhappy, people are scared, people don't feel like valued. They shrink into themselves. That's what it is. So when we recognize that's happening in our workplace, we have a responsibility to speak up about it. And I say about and not necessarily against, because sometimes we think that everything has to be a fight and it has to be a battle. It's like, I'm going to go to war. No, actually, just speaking about it. Say, it doesn't feel healthy. Our environment, the energy in here doesn't feel as friendly, as warm, as engaging as it should. And I know that we work better when we have a warm, safe environment. And when we say that, we're putting everyone on alert without pointing fingers, there's going to be a time where you have to stand up to someone, and that will come. But you don't have to fight with everyone to change things. So that's one of the things that I talk a lot about. And when I speak to employees, when we're doing this webinar, I talk about, you don't have to fight for everything. You don't have to necessarily shout out at that person and put yourself in danger. Like if you're worried about your own career, you're worried about maybe you're going to put yourself in harm's way when you speak out about something, just talk about what you're noticing. It doesn't feel, when you said that, it made me feel uncomfortable. I wonder how that other person felt. I wonder, did you notice that, this might be, or have you thought that this might not be a good thing to say in a time like now, or this person may be sensitive to this? Sometimes people, strangely, are not aware of stuff like that. And you being a friend, a coworker, a colleague, and identifying what you see by speaking about it is a way to support your workplace. It's a way to be part of breaking that negative energy and clearing that out so everyone can feel safe at work. One of the things I teach at IWS, which is our company at Interpersonal Wellness Services, is the whole idea of creating an inclusive wellness workplace environment where you practice psychological safety. Because you can't be innovative and creative and come up with your best ideas and be highly productive if you're feeling unsafe, if you don't feel appreciated, if you're fearful that what you put out, you might, someone may uh, criticize you, and you may be, put yourself in harm's way emotionally. You're going to shrink in, you're going to not want to participate, you're going to be just quietly watching everyone. And so in order for us to get the level of participation we want in our workplace, and to get everyone on board and participating, we need to make sure that it is a safe, emotionally safe environment for people to thrive. Employees won't thrive in an environment where it's a dog eat dog and everybody is negatively competing, and nobody gets appreciated and people just get shoved to the side. That creates toxic emotions at work because people are fearful, people are hurting, they're resentful towards others, they're looking to get back at others. I want to get back at you. I want to pay you back for what you've done to me. I you know my com- I have to win at all costs, and in order for me to win, I have to put you down. And those are the just creates an unhealthy atmosphere at work. So our goal is to identify those things, speak about them, and yes, there are times that you're going to have to speak to someone and confront another person and say, you know what, I cannot participate in this, and it makes me unhappy and unhealthy to be in this environment. And what can we do to change things? So yes, we need to speak up, we need to watch ourselves, we need to be aware, practice that self-awareness of our participation. Am I doing something by not saying something? Am I, because silence means consent in most cultures. If you don't say something, that means you're agreeing with what's going on, and you're not countering it. So it's important for us to think about, when do we stay silent and when do we speak up, because that can have a huge impact on how we show up and the difference we make at work. This is Joyce Odidison here. I hope this give you some tips on how you can uh, really go through and look at those toxic emotions at work and deal with them. Because if we don't, it's going to stay and permeate, and it just gets worse. Then people start not wanting to come to work, not wanting to be there, not showing up, calling in sick because they don't want to be. There are sometimes leaders said to me, you know what? When certain people is on shift, certain people are automatically ill. Like that should never be. You shouldn't have to wonder who's going to be at work in order for you to feel safe to go to work. That should stop. We need to do our part to ensure that that doesn't happen. And when you calling us, what mood is our boss in today? What is it going to be like? We should manage ourselves. If you're a leader, manage your own emotion, practice self mastery so your employees aren't scared that you're going to show up with a bad attitude and ruin everyone's day. We should not be going to work to ruin people's day. And we can ruin people's day virtually, right? In a hybrid workplace, we can do it on in the online platform as well, because that's where most of us are working right now. So we have to think about the energy we bring in. Am I turning on my camera? Do I have a smile? Am I engaging? If I can't turn on my camera because I don't have the privacy, then, or the right background, but am I speaking in a friendly way? Am I participating? Am I active? Do my coworkers know that I'm there, or am I just in that silent toxic energy where I'm just seeping bad vibes into the room, right? So there's a difference, and we know we can identify the difference in ourselves. Stay self-aware and ensure that what you're bringing at work, and you're bringing your A game, and you're showing up, and you're not contributing to the negative energy. This is Joyce Edison saying au revoir for this week. Let's end those seasons of toxic. I've been to situations where people, this has gone on for years. That should never be. Those kinds of things cause illness in our bodies, and in our minds. We need to free ourselves, just like being in toxic, right? Just like being out there and having toxic chemicals on our outside of our skin. When we are in a toxic, emotionally toxic environment, it is emanating poison through our mind and our bodies. So we need to reduce those as much as possible at all costs. Joyce, I need to say have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next week. Thank you for being here. Hi, Navita. Bye. Take care. Hi, everyone.